Sundays in Asmara, the capital of Eritrea, are a day for bicycles, for racing them. The roads are cleared and people gather early. During the summer, Eritreans watch the big European cycling tours in cafes and restaurants. But on most Sundays, they watch local races or national competitions on the streets of the capital. Asmara is the heart of Eritrean cycling, a city at altitude surrounded by steep mountain roads. These roads produce the riders who in recent years have made more than a dozen appearances in the tours of France, Italy and Spain. Cycling was brought to Eritrea by the Italians. They ran the country for the first half of the 20th century. In the capital, they built cinemas, hotels, an opera house and a cathedral. But more than the buildings they left behind, the Italians' real legacy is one of sport. They brought bikes and they held the first cycling races. After the Italians left, and before independence, Eritrea's cyclists began to race internationally. One of them was Yamane Negassi. He raced in the 1964 and 1968 Olympic Games.
Cycling has always been popular here in Eritrea. It's not new, but compared to before, now it's really taken off. Why is this? People have noticed the results from Europe or around Africa, and now everyone goes to see the races.
The high point of this cycling success was summer 2015, when Daniel Teklehaimanot and Mahawi Kudus became the first Eritreans to ride the Tour de France.
They are really the Eritrean pride. There is a saying in Eritrea that it's called, we Eritrean, the minute we are born to make history. And each of everyone makes history. And that was part of it. They made history like the rest of the Eritreans. And the impact that had, especially on kids, it's unimaginable, seriously, because all they want to do is cycling.
Professional Eritrean riders don't just inspire future generations, they also encourage the next crop of elite cyclists when they come home to race and train.
They will come back after the race there. They told you a lot of things, and then you really believe, because those guys are like our friends. We train together, we was together here in racing together, so you can really believe.
Eritrea's government puts money into cycling, happy for a change from the constant criticism of its record on human rights, the economy and indefinite military service, or from news about the streams of young people leaving the country. Cycling success is building connections internationally. Foreigners travel in and out of the country without much difficulty for sport, and Eritrean cycling fans believe that success abroad can only increase.
We've had success in Europe, in the mountains, in the Tour de France. In the different races we've done, our cyclists have put Eritrea's name out there. So people here, including young people who want to race, now have a passion, a desire to try and get where other big races have been. Now we've quite a few riders, but in the future there won't just be 8 riders racing abroad. We'll have 40 or 50 of them.
Like we call it, cycling, it's bread for Eritrea. So a human cannot survive without bread. And literally, cycling is like that for us.
The mountainous roads down to the Red Sea have given Eritrea world-class cyclists. Through its history and its geography, the country has woven the bicycle into daily life and has turned cycling into a national sport. And almost a century after bikes were first brought to the country, Eritrea's cyclists are now out racing with the best in the world.